Welcome to the Pinter Beer Chef, a channel dedicated to the Pinter 3. Here you'll learn everything you need to know to brew like a pro. Okay, so 95% of your brew is this stuff, water. I don't recommend that you use tap water for your brewing with the Pinter 3 brewing system, or with any home brewing for that matter. The reason being, tap water contains chlorine and chloramine. Chlorine and chloramine is a disinfectant aimed at making your tap water safe to drink, which is fine. That disinfectant is geared towards killing microorganisms. Now, unfortunately for us brewers, yeast itself is a microorganism. And if you use tap water in your brew, there's a great possibility that the brewing fermentation process will actually be suppressed somewhat by the chlorine and chloramine in your tap water. Also, the adverse effect of this is off flavours in your beer. That could be plasticky taste, metallic taste, medicinal taste. Either way, it's going to make your beer taste bad and it's going to ruin your brew. And when you're spending your hard-earned cash on these excellent brews, I personally wouldn't recommend taking the risk using tap water. Secondary to that, tap water, if you pour it straight out your cold tap, the likelihood is it's going to be too cold for pitching your yeast. The ideal temperature for pitching your yeast in your pinter is going to be about room temperature, about 20 degrees C. So that's another reason why if you use cold water straight out the tap, apart from the chlorine and the chloramine, you're going to find yourself in a situation where that cold water is not thoroughly mixing that beer pack together in your pinter system, and there's a risk that some of the actual syrupy beer pack itself, the fresh press, will run off into your docking station and go to waste and totally impair the quality of your beer. So what I recommend is that you switch, if you're currently using tap water, to using spring water, which I buy from Sainsbury's. This spring water from Sainsbury's is £1.50 a bottle for 5 litres, which I think is a fair price to pay for a guaranteed high quality successful brew. I've used this for every pinter pack you can imagine with absolute 100% success rate. The composition of this spring water is ideally suited to all your ales and your stouts. Fantastic. I've used this with lagers in the fresh press pinter system with great success, and I've got no problems with it whatsoever. If you like brewing lager in particularly and you brew it a lot, you might want to consider an alternative that is a little bit softer to this, and I'd probably recommend Tesco's Ashbeck mineral water. It's the same price, £1.50 for 5 litres. That's probably more suitable if you want to be brewing lager specific. But I would like to reiterate that I use this for everything with 100% success rate. I use it for the lagers and they've turned out fantastic. I use it for all my ales, all my stouts, the lot. This one variant, just British spring water from Sainsbury's, is going to take away 95% of your brewing problems, and I couldn't recommend switching enough if you're still using or are using tap water. If you insist on using tap water, the only thing I could recommend to you is run it out from your tap, let it reach room temperature before you mix with your fresh press and mix up your brew in your pinter system, and also consider buying some Campden tablets. And with a vessel this size, you only want just a little pinch. Too much will be detrimental, but a little pinch of Campden tablets inside your tap water, inside your 10 pints, that will just take away that chlorine and chloramine, and it'll improve your brew considerably if you absolutely insist on using tap water. If you're using tap water and you've got no problems whatsoever, then there's not an issue. You carry on doing that. But if you have any issues with your brewing, if you're experiencing any problems, the first question I always ask is, what water are you using? And the first thing I always recommend is switch to natural spring water and stop using your tap water. 95% of this is in your brew, and 95% of your problems are going to go away if you start using this. Store it at room temperature in the same room where you ferment your pint of brew. You can't go wrong. I hope you enjoyed your video today. If you'd like to join our Pinter community, like and subscribe and leave any comments below. Cheers.